Hey everyone! Welcome back to Jiesan Audiobook. Before we dive into today's chapters, I just want to quickly share something special with all of you who love web novels as much as I do. If you're into powerful main characters, massive fantasy worlds, intense battles, and immersive storytelling, but sometimes don't have the time to sit down and read, then this might be perfect for you. Go check out Xtreme Highlights AudioNovels on YouTube. They create high-quality audio narrations of some of the most popular web novels out there, including Catastrophic Necromancer, Reincarnated with the Strongest System, Infinite Mana in the Apocalypse. Whether you're commuting, relaxing at home, working out, or getting ready to sleep, their channel makes it easy to experience epic stories anytime, anywhere. If you love action, fantasy, overpowered protagonists, and huge world building, you'll definitely enjoy their content. So after this episode, make sure to check them out and start binge listening. And now, let's return to our story. Tonight, we continue. Carl, beastbound with two powerful chapters that balance chaos and calm, reward and reflection. Chapter 1598, Loot for the Loot. God. Chapter 1599, Morning After. The battle is over. The dust has settled. But in Carl's world, victory is never simple. Because when monsters fall, when power shifts, what remains? Treasure, consequences, and the calm before the next storm. Let's begin. Chapter 1598, Loot for the Loot. Godswag patted Carl on the back with a smile. Well, Monster Man, let's hear what you got. I know the system rewards based on contribution, and it decided you were the strongest of us all. So what did you get from the bosses? Carl looked into his inventory for recently acquired items, a task made much easier by the fact that he carried so little in his actual inventory, and instead kept nearly everything in either the tiny world or in one of the beast spaces. Alright, let's see. I've got a bunch of pieces of epic-grade weapons and armor. So many weapons, there's got to be 24 of them. I've got some epic-grade accessories. It looks like they're mostly warrior type, with strength and skill damage. Then we've got the rare-grade random stuff. Oh, this is pretty good. Artifact-grade relic. It doesn't look like it's an equipable item, though. Carl paused to read through the description, while Min and Swag looked ready to throttle him to make him speak. It's a passive bonus item, active when you keep it in your inventory. It grants a bonus in duels or against bosses. Carl took the item out so everyone could see what he was talking about. Champion's Relic. Artifact grade, immortal rank, increases all damage done during challenges or against targets with epic grade, or higher constitutions by 20%. So because you're already overpowered, it gave you a statue of ass whooping? I knew that the system gods were kind today. Swag laughed. Carl wouldn't really call it a statue. It was a ball covered in runic carvings, but the rest of the description wasn't bad. I think that I did pretty well. Considering the pure number of items I got, it will take me some time to sort through the epic weapons and gear to see if there is anything with a particularly unique bonus on it. That relic looks like the only artifact-grade item, though. Swag shrugged. That's already rare enough? There likely aren't more than a few people in the clan other than the elders who have ever owned an artifact-grade item. Hey Min, do you think that we should all go together to the warehouse to turn in our spare loot once we pick what we want to keep? Carl joked. As long as it's not when I'm on shift because I'm not dealing with the fallout of that nonsense. I've got over a dozen epic-grade items that are of absolutely zero use to me as well. It feels crazy that I'm not even really looking at rare-grade items. I've got so many epic items that I can basically replace everything that I use with something better. I've even got options of weapons I might like. That one dungeon run gave me more loot than the last 5 years combined. Kara laughed as she twirled a metal baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. What do you say we all use a disguise spell or a transformation and go back? They'll never expect us to do it twice. Swag laughed hysterically, and the Lycans looked at the badger in awe. It would be glorious. Absolutely glorious. The entire dungeon region was certain to be trying to find out where they went and what they got. If they found another elder to lead them and went back before anyone caught on, they could go again. However, they had been up all night doing a dungeon. They really did need to sleep. The apartment is secure enough if everyone wants to sleep here. We don't have rooms for 20, but if you've got a sleeping bag, it's not like you're going to get rained on in the garden, Kara added. Dana sighed, while the Lycans laughed. I like the way you think, little one. If everyone is up for it, we can go again. I say that we only do the first 3 bosses next time. It won't raise any suspicions if we come out early and make some fake complaints about the difficulty. Kara nodded happily, while Tian looked confused. Why did they want to prank strangers? What if you never saw them again? Would it still be fun to put in all that work just to play a prank that nobody ever realized you had pulled? Or did they just want more loot? He wanted more bard spells. He liked playing his zither, but he needed more spells to make it worthwhile as a bonus ability while they were doing dungeons. He had received many things for his efforts, but none of them was a spellbook. His new instrument helped with his healing and stone attacks, as well as vicious mockery, but some group buffs would be a much better use of his time. Though, a puppy pile in the living room with the lichens didn't sound too bad. He could just have Carl cast War Beast on them again to make them extra fluffy. Ooh, loot isn't all I got. What is an Iron Man? Kara asked. Pardon? New titles. 3 of them, in total. There is Ancient Boss Slayer, Alhos Trial Iron Man, and Favored of the Gods, Kara explained. Swag cheered as he realized that he had gotten titles. Perhaps now someone would start calling him something other than moron. Hey, why didn't I get the Boss Slayer one? I wanted people to call me Slayer, he complained. Dana shrugged. I have it. Maybe it's only for those of us who got a last hit in on a boss? One of the lichens nodded. I have the Ancient Boss Slayer title as well. I got the killing blow on the second last boss. Jacob, the feral protector druid, who had finally gotten to do something other than work as a tank, held up a coin. Hey, does anyone else have one of these? Carl dug through his inventory and found the token stored by the system with the rest of his currency. Yeah, I've got one. One by one, everyone brought them out, even Ray, Tien, and Kara, who were the only beasts currently outside their spaces. Challenge coin. Rewarded to those who complete a Nightmare difficulty challenge. Usage allows the bearer to adjust the difficulty of one future trial challenge up to a maximum of Nightmare difficulty. Oh, that is good. I wonder how everyone else is doing with their challenge. They're going to be so jealous that we got to do the improved version of the dungeon while they were all slogging through base difficulty. Kara cheered, but her smirk told Carl that she knew something he did not. Namely, that everyone else was forced to do Nightmare mode after they had accidentally activated it by bringing an avatar of the world dragon with an epic grade constitution into a trial, which was set to a difficulty far too easy for him. End of chapter now. To the next chapter. Chapter 1599. Morning after. By the time that they all woke up the next morning and went to the dining hall for breakfast, news of the change to the dungeon had spread through the clan like wildfire. Wait, you all went there last night, right? How hard is it? The group that went just after we got the news says that it's totally impossible, and they didn't even make it to the first boss. A Battle Mage class clan member asked as Carl led the group in. I didn't think it was that bad. It gets harder with each of the bosses that you kill, but if you do it the other way around and start with the strongest, the difficulty actually goes down a little as you progress. If you start with the weakest first, the final bosses would be absolutely nuts, Carl agreed. So you guys got through more than one boss? Was that before it changed? Did you know that it changed? The dungeon is making everyone fight groups of lesser bosses to get to the actual boss. They said that in the 5 pulls they managed, they got the rewards as if they had fought 15 actual bosses. The Battle Mage demanded. Carl nodded. We got through the Wrath Demons after the dungeon difficulty was increased. Like I said, it's not easy, but it's not impossible with the right group. We have a huge amount of healing in our team with multiple druids, clerics, and a shaman. That made all the difference, along with a mana pylon to keep everyone fighting. The man looked relieved. That is wonderful news. I know the mana pylon spell, so it shouldn't be too hard if we get some extra healers. Bring golems too? The golems are essential, Swag added. Oh, good point. Definitely bring golems. 3 bosses per pull is just cruelty to a single tank. If you can't get durable enough golems, just bring multiple tanks, Carl suggested. Noted. I think that we will be fine. Are you going to try to go again today? I heard that some of the sects still suspect that New Home was responsible for the change in the dungeon. The Battle Mage replied, We had considered it. The loot was so good last time that it would be a shame not to do it again. The mage nodded. It should be fine. You did manage to get multiple bosses down, But if you split the group to go with multiple other groups this time, it might be less suspicious. Someone might recognize your existing group. Then someone finally noticed the obvious. I hate to break up a planning session, but what the hell? How did the moron suddenly make it to Ascended? Swag puffed up his chest. Have I not been telling everyone? All I had to do was have faith and the gods would deliver. I might have overestimated my progression rate, but my faith paid off. I was given a divine opportunity, and I took it. The whole dining hall was so shocked that nobody could find a proper response for that. Without context, it was a perfectly reasonable response. Many immortals advanced because they found a divine opportunity and seized it before anyone else could. In fact, it was the desired outcome for most of them. But in context, considering who was speaking, nobody could believe that it actually happened. However, none of them were quite as shocked as the assassin-class elder that they had hired to go with them to the dungeon. Not only had they caused a massive commotion, they had tricked him into doing it for cheap and then leaving him to deal with the fallout when they somehow managed to return to the clan without leaving the dungeon. He had attempted the dungeon early this morning, along with the others who had gathered for the challenge, but it had not gone well. They had made it through 2 bosses, just 2. They had left with some truly impressive loot as the 2 actual bosses had been low supreme ranked and had dropped epic grade supreme ranked items. But that was not the point. If you were going to cause chaos, it was only polite to warn the man that was in charge of covering for you. He suspected that it was not actually Swag's fault. The cause was almost certainly the avatar of the World Dragon. Being a senior servant of a system god, he might even have a skill for it. However, he had no proof of that. Yet, the cause could also be the combination of the World Dragon's avatar, the blind faith of the moron, and a Chaos Badger all released in the same location. That combination spelled disaster anywhere else, so why not inside a dungeon? Or a trial, as they now knew this spawn was. You owe me for the crap you put me through waiting for you to come back out after the first clear announcement, he insisted as he stormed over to where Swag and Carl were waiting in line for breakfast. Carl smiled at him. I suspected that there might have been some trouble for you, given what we heard this morning. Who would have guessed that the difficulty of the dungeon would change without warning? Fortunately, I prepared an apology gift for you. Swag looked confused, but Carl handed the elder a Villa stone, while Kara gave a single, satisfied clap, as if to say that the matter was settled with this payment. A Villa stone? Well, that certainly does cover the inconvenience. Thank you for your consideration. Let me know in advance if you are planning to cause a scene again. Kara gave him 2 thumbs up and held up her new coin. Fear not, I fully intend to. Just point us in the right direction and I will ensure that an appropriate level of chaos is introduced to the situation. Once she used the coin, she was definitely going to try to get Carl to combine Chaotic Zone and Randomize into something that would alter the difficulty settings of other instances. One of these coins was not nearly enough. And that wraps up chapters 1598 and 1599 of Carl. Beastbound. This structure keeps long-running series fresh. Chapter 1598 feeds reader satisfaction. Chapter 1599 restores narrative tension. Carl's growth is not just in stats, it's in restraint. He doesn't rush blindly into the next fight. He consolidates. And that is what makes him dangerous. Thematically, these chapters reinforce power must be managed. Victory creates responsibility. Every gain shifts the battlefield. The world of Carl. Beastbound is no longer small, and every step forward changes the scale of future conflict. Now, I want to hear from you. Which loot drop excited you the most? Do you think the party distributed the rewards fairly? What consequences do you think are coming after this victory? Comment down below. And tell me where you're listening from. Are you tuning in while commuting, before bed, grinding in your own game? If you're enjoying Carl, Beastbound here on Jiesan Audiobook, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Because the next chapters feel like escalation. And something tells me the peace of this morning after won't last long. Until next time, stay bound, stay legendary.